All right, welcome to my first Linux Audio Soliloquy video. I think I'm actually not really ready to record a video. As you can see, the camera angles are still not ideal, although I have an idea how to fix that. Later today I want to go to the woodworker and actually have him build something that I can mount the camera behind the screen and have a more interesting camera angle for you. And also the other camera, I want to actually position further back so that you can see more about my setup. But since we are still here living in a construction site, basically, I have to move slowly with these things, because I actually want to make everything a little bit more spacious over time and have more interesting camera angles, more light coming in the room, because I'm really now cramped into the corner. Since we moved to Thailand, we started lots of things to actually, root ourselves here. We founded a company. We are this close to open our restaurant and maybe this close to open the sauna that we are building. I want to make a video about this too, because it's actually really amazing. But it takes a long time. It's a lot of work. It almost ate up all our money. But I don't want to complain. I think we're going to manage and we are super happy here. But so I think I'm not really ready. I don't really know how to operate the stuff, when to use what screen. And what I want to do today is actually, just as a first video, show you around a little bit how I use Linux. Not only for music making, but around audio, at least for today. And for this, I think I'm going to switch to the desktop and show you a little bit of my computer. What you see here is GNOME. Many people, I think, would say that's boring. For me, it was just natural to come here from macOS. I really like the aesthetic. I like the workflow, the minimalism. And I also really love the app ecosystem. There's tons of beautiful little apps, even more every day. And yeah, I really love the look. However, I think, sometimes it's a little bit too simplistic and some things are missing for me also. This is why I have an eye on Cosmic. I really want to try Cosmic. I tried Neri and I tried Hyperland, which I think are amazing, but I think too geeky for me. And I also don't really resonate with everything automated, like tiling stuff. And I think Cosmic could be really interesting. But anyways, so when I log into my desktop, usually I open up a terminal and then I have a bunch of scripts that I usually run. The first would be init system. And that's actually, let me open a bracket here, because I think I have many compulsions. Some of them I try to get rid of, but others I also think maybe not too bad. And one compulsion is that I name everything specific to a certain system. So I would always name things like, what is the action and to what does it belong? And in this sense, the init script basically is initialization system. And so you will see this often when you look at stuff that I am doing. And the init script doesn't do a lot. It actually runs a wake-up call on the NAS, and if the device, the shares are not mounted already, then it mounts them. Currently I mount them with SMB. A while ago I mounted them with NFS. I think SMB, for whatever weird reason, is faster for me. Then I pull some Git repositories, and that's it basically. And the other script that I run almost like an addict is the update system script that basically executes the Flatpak updates, executes the Pacman update, the Yai update, downloads and updates some stuff that I have applied. For instance, for Thunderbird and GNOME, Thunderbird and Firefox, I have some themes applied. Although Firefox is actually not even my browser. Nowadays I use Zen Browser. I really love how minimal and simple it is. And still it has a ton of nice features in my point of view, like for instance the split screen that I use often. Oh, by the way, this is not my native screen resolution. This is now fractional scaling of 150%, because I think otherwise you would not be able to see anything. It would be too small because it's a 32-inch screen. Okay, but so that's basically how I browse the internet with Zen. And so whenever I finished running my scripts, then I usually go into streaming my journalctl. it's something that I just do. I love to see what's going on behind the scenes. Of course, there's lots of noise in there because some stuff is just not done well, like for instance GNOME extensions, which will be the next topic, extensions, but still I like to see the journal in the background. Extensions, for a long time I didn't use actually any extension at all. I really ran GNOME vanilla and actually enjoyed it, but there are some things that I find annoying, and for some things I use extensions for that reason. One thing is, here in Thailand, sometimes we have extreme brightness, like the sun can be really brutal. Right now it's rainy season and it's actually dark outside. But so I don't use light mode because I think it's nice, it looks nice. I also don't use dark mode because I think it looks nice. I did a long time, I have to confess. A long time I was a complete dark mode fan for fashion reasons. But nowadays I really switch to light mode because I cannot see things on the screen in this bright sunlight. And one extension that I use is called Luminous, because let me deactivate it so that you see why I use it. I don't know why, but in GNOME the light mode still has a dark top bar and has lots of dark elements, like for instance the dock and stuff. And believe me or not, but sometimes it's so bright that especially on the laptop, not in the studio. In the studio it's usually okay, but still if the sun is bright it can be good for me to switch to the light mode, which is also why I would actually love to have a light mode also for Bitwig, but seems to be that not many people want that. Anyways, Luminous makes these elements also light, which I think should be the default. I don't know why it is like that, but then also I'm not in the position to make these decisions, so I just accept how it is and enjoy the freedom on Linux to do whatever I want and change this. So that's Luminous. And then the other extension, two other extensions are around me wanting to have the ability to also switch non-GNOME apps, like for instance Thunderbird, that is not a GTK4 app, easily. So when I go, for instance, here and switch, that also these non-GTK apps, not these non-GTK4 apps, switch accordingly. And that's what this extension does. And then the last extension here is Rectangle. Rectangle is something that I really enjoy for the same reasons that I would love to try the Cosmic Desktop. Because I love the simplicity of GNOME, but I would also like to have some more features, how to organize windows and stuff. And Rectangle is for me like the perfect balance. I use it all the time. Then another thing that I often use is, like, I work a lot with files, like sometimes also with larger amounts of files. Like for instance, I import the photos from my phone to the computer, and then I want to process them, then I have a bunch of scripts in Nautilus. Nautilus is GNOME's file browser. And so, for instance, let's say I have a bunch of screenshots. I think I need to make some. And do some screenshots here. So that we have something. Then let's make one screen, big one. Okay, so now we have these three files here. And what I have is I have a script that basically cleans up the names of these files, because I have another compulsion, and that is that I always want to have everything starting with a machine-readable date. So this script, if I execute it, puts these files cleaned up with cleaned up names, puts them into folders so that everything is the way I like it. Another thing could be like, let's say we have this file here that has spaces and underscores and whatnot. And for this I have a script to clean up the name, make everything lower scale, replace special chars with dashes, and then I also have an add date script. So this is basically what I do in Nautilus with the scripts. And then another thing that I think could maybe be interesting for you to see is I actually have changelogs for most of the gear that I have that can be configured, right? I don't have changelogs for synthesizers, for instance, but I have changelogs for my routers, for all the computers and stuff like that. And this more or less looks like this. So let's go back to dark mode. And what I do is basically I write down all the things I do, like whatever I install, whatever I execute, whatever I do to the computers. This on the left is my studio workstation and on the right is the laptop. I also try to keep them really in sync. I try to have this, I think they have more or less the same packages on both machines, and configurations are always mirrored so that I feel at home whatever I do. And as said, I have this also for the computers at the company now, like there's a laptop and a server there. I have it for routers and the NAS and whatever. So for me, this is really essential. Probably also like kind of a compulsion, but yeah, I document everything like that. And another thing that I wanted to show you is how I listen to my music and how I organize my music. And for this, so let me maybe go to the music directory. In the music directory, I have my sample library. Oh, by the way, this sample library, this is maybe also interesting. Synonym, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but Synonym is one of the most amazing programs to work with sample libraries. You can filter by certain types. You have also like some AI stuff that analyzes the samples for brightness, harmonics, and noisiness and stuff. So it's really a cool app to organize your samples. Can only recommend it. Yeah, and then I have the Bitwig Studio folder where I have all the unfinished stuff. Like for instance, here are all the songs that I'm working for the next album. And then the music library. And the music library is, like many things in my life, has like an Apple part that I was like 25 years on the macOS side. And that's why here I have Apple Music. And in Apple Music, I have all my music. And it's all organized like that. And then I also have a post-Apple situation. And the post-Apple situation would be basically Bandcamp or Qobuz. I try to buy everything on Bandcamp, and some things for whatever reason are not available on Bandcamp, so I sometimes buy something on Qobuz for crazy amounts of money. But yeah, that's the high-res library. It's also quite busy right now. Not right now, like, and it became quite big, no? That's what I wanted to say. Okay, but so this is basically how I have the files organized, and I organize them manually. And to listen to music, I use Quadlibet. Quadlibet I mainly like because of this query-based search that you have here. It is actually very interesting because let's say I start the computer in the morning, I want to listen to something chill out, not too crazy. I want something that is in a certain BPM range. I don't want anything aggressive. Sometimes I don't want vocals. Sometimes I don't want to hear anything by myself. Like, so this is really for me like my mood bar, so to say, no? Like here, for instance, in this setting, I say I want everything that has a rating higher than 0.8, which would be 4 stars or more. And then let's go with this example. Let's say it's morning. I want something that is between a certain BPM range. Like, let's say I want something that is between 80 and 100 BPM. And then maybe I'm in the mood to listen to old stuff, or maybe I want to say, give me all the recent things, like I want all the things from the recent years. No Paulussen, nothing by myself, no dark stuff, no experimental stuff, and in this case also no Veda. There's like, it's like ambient, also like Indian music that I sometimes listen to. And then I have this perfectly tailored playlist that I can listen to. And later in the day, I might say, you know what? Let me also give me also some Paulussen stuff. And maybe I am in the mood for dark. So then maybe let's do it the other way around. Maybe say I want specifically dark stuff. And yeah, so that's how I listen to music. And then one thing that is also very cool about Quadlibet is the way you can manage the files. Like, I, for instance, rename everything according to a certain pattern. Again, compulsion alarm. But I rename everything so that the rating is actually in the file name. And for this, I created some patterns here. Like if something has 5 stars, then I rename it like this. If something has 3 stars, I rename it like this. And the reason why I do this is because the tags are not reliably written to the files in none of the apps I tried. It's actually not a Quadlibet fault. It seems to be around file formats and what they actually, how they store tags and stuff. So for instance, if I transfer the library to my Walkman, my Sony Walkman, most of the ratings will be gone. And that's why I named the file so that the rating is in the file name. And I can give you a practical example why I think that makes sense. For instance, in Mix, the DJ app that I sometimes use, now I can go in here and say, for instance, give me everything that has a 5-star rating. And then I can build playlists with that. So also if some rating is missing, I can put the rating here based on that file name stuff. So that's why I use this file renaming stuff. That's basically how I listen to music. And now let's go quickly to Bitwig Studio, running here on the second space. This is basically just a track that I'm working on that I put here as background music that is not prone to copyright claims or whatever. But yeah, I want to make a video. One of the next videos I want to make is like about how good actually has making music on Linux become. Because for me, it's actually really crazy. I started when I felt like, oh wow, there's Bitwig available for Linux. It's amazing, let's try it. But then I realized, man, all my thousands of plugins, at that point I really had a lot of plugins, are not available. So that's why I started the Linux Audio Plugin Development Initiative. But so much has changed, it's really crazy. Nonetheless, I also want to make this video because of another aspect. Like for me, when I switched to Linux, this was because I wanted to do the right thing. It's like the same if for me when I say I want to ride only the bicycle or mostly the bicycle and not ride around with a car all the time. It's because I want to do something good. And that also means for me that I am absolutely willing to accept certain things because of that decision. Like for instance, with riding the bicycle, you can get wet. You can sweat like crazy if you have to go up a hill. It's of course more comfortable and relaxing in a car. But I made that decision, and the same applies to me for Linux. So on Linux, I feel like some things that could be a showstopper for others, for me are absolutely okay because I understand why they happen. There is maybe a workaround, or maybe I just plain accept the limitation. But again, I want to make a video about these little things and talk a little bit about how good actually Linux has become to make music. And I can take this, can tell this already. Like for me, it's like amazing. I tell it to everyone that Linux has become really great to make music, and still I want to do this video and also try to be very honest about things that are maybe not ideal right now, because there are a couple of things that are not really nice. Some rough edges here and there. But again, the situation gets better. I think the situation will get better in all aspects, not only of my life, I hope, but of humanity and the planet and yeah, everyone. So I think that's it for this video. I will basically go now to Bitwig, click a little bit around and then stop the video. And again, I want to make new videos. I want to improve. I am also learning Blender now to make nicer animations and stuff for my screens in OBS, and also want to integrate the Linux Audio Plugin Development Initiative better. And so there's lots of improvements to make, and also about the space here. The longer, the more I really want to make more music, because it's what really makes me the happiest in life. And right now I am not in the position to do that because, as I said, money is running out and we now need to finally get things together here and start to earn money again. I hope we will do that, and then I hope I will do a lot of videos, and I hope everything will be good in the end. And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for listening, and let me know in the comments and write emails and Mastodon and wherever you can find me. Let me know what you want to see, what interests you, what questions you might have. I look forward to this. Thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.